Welcome to Garage Gym Athlete Cool Downs. These episodes are short, actionable podcasts pulled from previous interviews and content we've been publishing for the last several years. So go for a walk, hop on the rower, or clip into the bike for this cool down episode. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Jerred Moon here, and welcome to this week's cool down. We're doing something a little bit different so far in the cool down episodes. We've been doing snippets past Better Humanology podcasts and, different points. Just trying to share a lot of that good information that has kind of been tucked away and make sure that you have access to it. You get some of those ideas and nuggets without having to do all the digging. We're trying to do some of that digging for you. Anyway, today, this week, all of this week has been kind of our launch week for the book Killing Comfort. And I do appreciate all of you supporting the book, going to Amazon, purchasing the book. I appreciate it so much. I appreciate your support. All the Garage Gym athletes out there, thank you so much. A lot of people buying multiple copies, sharing copies, sending copies to friends, families, and letting me know about that. And I really do appreciate each and every single one of you. But this is a very audio style, audio world, if you will. I mean, I consume 95% of my books, via Audible, in this format, this audio format. And that's what this is about today. I'm actually going to let you listen to the introductory chapter of my book, Killing Comfort, the prerequisite to extraordinary results. And so this is it. This is going to be the introduction. If you like this, the audiobook will be out next week on Audible. You guys can go grab that, and you can hear me a little bit more monotone than I am on the podcast, just out of some of the Audible requirements and everything like that. But this will be your taste of it. If you guys like it, go grab the audiobook next week. And again, I appreciate your support. Thank you so much for helping me on this journey of Killing Comfort. And let me know what you think of this cool down episode. This book is dedicated to William, Graham, and Eleanor. May you guard yourselves against indolence. Do not fear a strenuous life. Instead, pursue it. Introduction. To begin, press forward against your own desire, killing the right comfort. You have the aircraft. You have the aircraft. Feeling like I had just absorbed a punch from Mike Tyson, I relinquished control of the jet. Captain Muro took control of the aircraft, radioed for an emergency landing, and as soon as the plane landed, I was swept off to the hospital. 72 hours later, I had surgery, and within 18 months, my flying days were over. My service career began in one of the most selective programs in the entire U.S. military, Euro-NATO Joint Jet Pilot Training, INJEPT. And the question I still ask myself to this day is, how did I position myself to get into such a selective program like INJEPT? I didn't graduate from Harvard, didn't have an engineering degree from some Ivy League school, nor was I ever an Eagle Scout. The day I showed up for INJEPT, I was sitting among men with these very accomplishments. From day one, I felt like I had to work twice as hard as everyone else to stay where I was. Looking back now, I realize there was only one thing I was really good at: killing comfort. If that meant studying for 12 hours straight, I could do it. If that meant waking up at 4 a.m. to train, I could do it. If that meant skipping out on a party with friends to focus on my goals, I could do it. And I could do it for years on end. Getting to this point was a goal I had dedicated every second of my life for 4 solid years, and before that had dreamt about for 20 years. I was in kindergarten when people would ask the old, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" question. And as far back as I can remember, my answer was always, "I'm going to be a fighter pilot." I'll never forget the day I was selected for Euro-NATO Joint Jet Pilot Training. I was about to walk into class after having just studied for the last several hours. There was a test that day. Right before I entered the room, the colonel pulled me aside and said, "Hey, I wanted to let you know you were selected for INJEPT. It's a pretty selective program, so good job." I instantly got a surge of adrenaline and my hands started to shake. I couldn't believe it. A goal I had set 4 years prior and worked my ass off for had just been attained. When I was the new kid in the Reserve Officer Training Corps at Texas Tech University, I was sitting in an office waiting to end process when this guy walked in wearing a flight suit. Ever since that day, I had my sights set on being a pilot and getting selected for a pilot slot, but I had no idea how to go about it. While I was sitting there, I heard a few people talking about how that guy had just been selected for INJEPT. So I asked the question what that meant. One of the cadets chimed in, "You want to be a pilot, right?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, about half of the pilot slots each year will go to the Air Force Academy. The other half will be competed for by almost every kid in ROTC and every college in the United States. INJEPT nearly guarantees you will become a fighter pilot, which makes it insanely competitive." I said, "Cool, that's what I'll do." He smirked and said, "I don't think you get it." "Get what?" I said. He continued, Let me put this in perspective for you. Every year, about 1,000 people attempt to become a Navy SEAL. Of those 1,000, roughly 200 will succeed. In the Air Force, there are about 1,000 pilot slots given out each year. Of those 1,000, only 50 are NJEP slots, and not all 50 will end up succeeding. I sat there just staring at him. He went on, "Look, I'm not saying the training process for becoming a pilot is as physically demanding as SEAL training. Nowhere close. But the selection process is perhaps the most rigorous in existence." I got it. This was going to be hard, and it was exactly what I wanted. I had set my goal. Getting there was the hard part. Every activity I did or did not do had to pass the litmus test of, will this move me closer to or further away from my goal? It would mean a lot of sacrifice, hard work, and dedication. It was a heck of a lot of work to get where I was, and it had all been taken away from me in an instant by something completely out of my control. Sustaining an injury while pulling G's in an aircraft is something no one could have ever predicted. Today, many people ask me what it is like to have a dream like this one ripped away. Most want to know what happened afterwards. How did I respond? What did I do? I moved on. Immediately. Recall, there's only one thing I was really good at: killing comfort. I knew the comfortable thing to do would be to start drinking, feeling sorry for myself, and continually refer to my time as an Air Force aviator as the good old days. And while I will make many references about aviation throughout this book, I'm not stuck in the past. My best days are the ones I'm currently living. The event that transpired that took away my dream led me into a life I love. I wake up inspired and motivated every single day. Instead of wallowing, I moved on. I broke strength and conditioning records in special operations and grew my business to a level only 4% of entrepreneurs will ever reach. Fortunately for me, I learned something in the process I knew could never be taken away from me. I learned how to intentionally pursue discomfort. We all know that working hard or getting out of our comfort zone is beneficial, but why do some work hard and still end up with marginal results? If all it takes to truly succeed is consistency and hard work, there'd be a lot more millionaires and six-pack abs out there. While consistency and hard work are big pieces of the puzzle, they are not the only pieces. In football, a team can work extraordinarily hard and still gain 0 yards. It takes the right play or work to move the team forward. So that's where this book comes in. The concept of doing hard things is not new. Almost every religious or philosophical text makes a warning of becoming too comfortable. In Sanskrit, the word bhoga is used to define and warn of overindulgence. The Bible references slothfulness as a pitfall to man. Stoicism urges discomfort to garner perspective. But knowing what hard things to pursue seems to be the real challenge, or what I call the intentional pursuit of discomfort. The intentional pursuit of discomfort is not the same thing as simply putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation. It's putting yourself in the right uncomfortable situation for exponential growth. It all starts with a simple idea of killing comfort. At its best, comfort has eased you into mediocrity. At its worst, comfort is literally killing you. It's time we take the fight to comfort. This book is about the art and science of driving forward against your own desire, or what I like to call killing comfort. The pages that follow tell the stories of men and women who are just like you, men and women who struggle with all that life demands, but found a way to push forward, albeit uncomfortably. You will hear stories of John F. Kennedy and Theodore Roosevelt, Andrew Carnegie and John D. Rockefeller, military commanders and gold medalists. There will be ideas from Emerson, Robert Scott Falcon, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Karl von Clausewitz, Napoleon, Benjamin Franklin, Nietzsche, and Marcus Aurelius. We will also look to poetry and films, ancient texts, and a massive amount of scientific research. I'll weave in my own stories and experiences as well as data from tens of thousands of people who have utilized the services of my company, End of 3 Fitness, over the last decade. We will look under every rock and around every corner to help us master the right forms of discomfort that yield forward progress. To kill comfort, we'll need to cover 3 domains. First, the traps that unknowingly lead us to comfort. Next, the areas we need to focus on for discomfort to bear fruit. And lastly, how to pursue those areas with fervor. Ultimately, we seek out each area in a desire to see extraordinary results. Almost any action will lead to some result, but we are after extraordinary results. You know that is what you are after, and it's what you deserve. That's why you're listening to this. So let's unlock what's been holding us back. Let's mark off the prerequisite that is overlooked by so many. Let's kill comfort. Thanks for listening to today's Cool Down. If for some ridiculous reason you are not subscribed to Garage Gym Athlete Programming, fix that problem right now. Go to garagegymathlete.com, sign up for a free trial, get started with us today. Thanks for listening.